Hello, folks. My name's Kathy Ace. I'm the author of the Kate Morgan Mysteries, the Wise Inquiries Agency Mysteries, and a dark psychological thriller called The Wrong Boy. That one's set in Wales, as are the Wise Inquiries Agency Mysteries, and that's where this accent's from as well, though now I'm a Canadian. Hey, I'm listening to the Dark and Stormy Book Club podcast. Are you? If not, you know what you should do? Listen. It's great. Enjoy!
Hello and welcome to Dark and Stormy Book Club. Today we have our first What We're Reading with our new member, Misty. Enjoy.
I'm Ann Dart.
I'm Tracy Stormy.
And I'm Kathy Knight.
And together we are
It Was a Dark and Stormy Book Club,
a podcast for mystery lovers.
Welcome.
If you enjoy our show, please consider contributing to the Dark and Stormy Patreon. By becoming a patron, you will help us create better and quality content. There are also benefits to becoming a patron, such as exclusive content and Dark and Stormy merchandise. Become a supporter at patreon.com/darkandstormybc. Check our website for the link. We appreciate any and all contributions. Thank you.
We are thrilled to have Misty join us. She's going to give us a little bit more energy than we have been known for in the past, and we look forward to having her with us as often as she can. This first What We're Reading, we are going to do in two parts. It's a very long episode, so we thought it would be best to chop it in half. And this first will be our introduction of Misty, and then we will go on to one of the first What We're Reading books, and we'll finish it up next week. So enjoy.
We are very excited to welcome our latest club member. She is Misty Night. And I'm sure a lot of people will recognize her from her other persona. But welcome, Misty.
Thank you. Super excited to be here.
So we're excited to have you. Tell us a little bit about Misty, other than the fact she was found under a tree.
So other than being found under a tree, I live in central Pennsylvania. I have been writing since about 1998 or so. I mean, I did the writing in elementary school. I just found a first book that I wrote the other day, and it was a murder mystery that involved bubblegum. So there you go.
Bubblegum?
Bubblegum. It was a murder mystery with palm trees. I'll have to find it, and maybe we'll talk about it one day. We could book club it. It's like 3 pages long. It would be great. So,
That's about my attention span.
I know, right? That's about how that goes. I started out actually writing greeting cards because I thought they would be easy, and that's a lie. And so then I thought, well, children's books, that's also a lie. Those are not easy. 45 words is not enough for Misty. And so I moved actually into writing romances. But then I was killing people, and I thought maybe that's not quite the romance that I was hoping. So
It was a calling.
Right. So I grew up watching Murder, She Wrote and Perry Mason and Columbo with my grandparents. And I have always been fascinated by not necessarily the murder, so not really a thriller. I'll read them, but they're not my jam. The way that cozies are, because cozies, there's justice. They're more about the people. They're character driven, which thrillers absolutely be like that too. But for my writing style, I needed something that could be funnier. And so the cozy was born. Poison Ivy was the first one I ever wrote. I didn't know the rules, so they're kind of sexy, so be careful if you go out and read those and you like the more traditional. Don't start there. And then I just kept going. I write some paranormal. I actually have 52 books out now, and 53 will be this year. And I know you're waiting desperately for the vacuum to be answered in the Tallie.
Yes,
We're doing that, and it's called Par for the Hearse.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I'm very excited about it. And I have been interacting with you guys for several years now. And I just have enjoyed you so much. So when you had asked, was I interested in joining your book club and the group, I went home and my husband was like, whoa, what happened? And I'm like, I am so excited. So thank
Well,
you very much.
we are over the moon because Misty gives us so much energy and fun, and it's just what this podcast needs.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
were getting a little down in the dumps.
That's all right. We'll bring you at least up to surface level. I mean, we can go up from there, but
Okay, good.
Okay, so now we're going to do something that our listeners who have been with us for a long time probably don't know much about us. So we thought we'd do something you'd be surprised to hear about us. And we're going to start with Anne. And that's going to be hard because she's my mother. And matter of fact, when it comes to me, we're not going to be able, she knows everything about me. But Mom did have a life before me.
That's right.
one that you might not want to know all the details on.
Yeah,
Just saying.
so I might learn some secrets. I may have to punish her and send her in timeout. Let's see, something you don't know about me. I had a dream when I was a child or as a young adult. I wanted to be a rocket.
Really?
And
She is 5'0" nothing.
Oh, you're too short.
I was vertically challenged.
Yeah.
Was rejected.
Yeah.
But I took dance lessons and I was bound and determined I was going to be a rocket until I found out you had to be 5'7". So,
well, that's actually, I think it's 5'4" to 5'9" now.
Oh, they shrunk it a little, not
a
enough.
Little bit. I know you still don't hit the mark, but
that was my dream as a younger woman, and I was dashed.
You would have been fabulous.
I would have
totally see you up there doing that pick.
I would have.
Absolutely. Funny enough, I took my grandmother to see the Rockettes. Now, my grandmother danced for Arthur Murray Studio until she was 92.
Wow.
And she was, she did competition. We're at the Rockettes, and she's like, oh, I could do that. I was like, please don't try. Okay. Here, at that time, she was like 87. And I'm like, we're in New York City. We're in an alley. If you kick high and I can't catch you, I don't know if that's going to work out. And she was 4'10". So,
I got her beat.
Yeah.
Maybe she and I could have started our own
you could be
midget group of
right. We'd have to call you. We'll have to come up with a word, something that's
she calls herself fun size.
Fun.
That's right. I'm not short. I'm fun sized.
You could be the Funkettes.
Yeah, the fun. There you go. We got it.
As you do.
We are the funkiest.
All right. I'm going to move on and tell you about something that happened to me 10 years ago. Mom, do you know what happened to me 10 years ago?
10 years ago. Let's see.
It was almost exactly 10 years ago. I'm only going to give you like 2 more seconds. 10 years ago, I was entering a lot of contests.
Oh, yes.
Because I had lost my job at a real estate agent when the bubble happened. So I didn't have anything more to do. So I sat around and entered contests. And I was just to the point where I was like, this is really a waste of my time and energy, and I should be looking for a job. I was cleaning my living room and the doorbell rang, and it was the FedEx man bringing me an envelope. I had won a cruise, but not just any cruise. I won an exclusive cruise. I won a $25,000 cruise.
Wow.
Airfare to Italy, then a tour of the Mediterranean. So we went to Italy, France, Spain, And it was not like one of your big cruise ship. It was a small. What this was is it was a cruise ship that was going all around the world, and we were just in one leg of it.
Okay.
We won it through Sony Pictures for the movie 2012. And I won a camcorder, and it was the most amazing trip I've ever, nothing will ever go. We went to Elba, where Napoleon was. We went in places that most people don't get to go.
Is awesome.
And I won the chance to babysit for my grandson.
Yes, for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, she kept my 10-year-old.
That is awesome.
Why I started drinking.
I mean, everybody has to have an origin story, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
All right, Misty, you're up.
Okay, if you have seen my website at all, you might know this. When I was younger, I actually used to be mentored by a professional opera singer, and my thrust was to be an opera singer. And I actually have because I don't sing a whole lot anymore except in the shower, a 3.5 octave range.
Wow.
So I
We're
can
gonna
go
have to
super
have you
low.
sing for us.
You can sing our jingle.
Oh, there you go.
We don't have one, but we
can go. So my brother is a musician, sponsored by Paul Beard Guitars. So we'll do the logo with my kid, and we'll do the jingle with my brother.
Okay, let's keep it in the family.
Right? Why not?
Right.
Very impressed.
I have the octave range of a gnat.
Oh,
she was the only one in our church that they asked not to join the choir.
Oh no! Yeah, I used to actually be a Sweet Adeline. I used to be a Sweet Adeline a long time ago. That was my thing. I was a singer and going to just do all of the things. And then I decided that I would rather have a regular or at-home life. And I got married at 20. And then that's when I started writing at 22, because I realized that I was watching way too much Lifetime TV and thought, you better get yourself a hobby there, child. I started out at a used bookstore. And I walked out with an entire grocery bag of books. And I loved reading when I was younger. It kind of got sidetracked. Once I started reading again, I was like, oh, I bet I could do this. And it did take me a while, because I didn't start publishing until 2005. So if you're a writer, hang in there. And now
just do it. That's
exactly. 24 years later, Nike. Here I am.
Yep. We actually interviewed a woman who was an author, and she wrote her first book. How old was she, Tracy?
She was in her 80s.
She was 93.
She made us look like we were slugs.
Yep. There really is no wrong time. Some people want more life experience before they put it out in the book. Some people
Alan Bradley didn't start until I think he was in his 50s.
Yeah, so don't ever think that it's too late, because it's never too late. And we want your stories. Whatever you want to write about, I want.
There is
the
always
story of the shortest rock cat. That's the name of my first book. Who kills all the tall rock cats.
All right, ladies, let's get to the book reviews.
Oh, right. We had a purpose, didn't we? Sorry.
All right,
this
Tracy.
wasn't just us talking. Yeah. I'll put my drink down now. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
First of all, let me tell you that I read a cozy, and I know that's not too surprising, but it's not my go-to, but I was feeling a little so I can always count on a good cozy to cheer me up. This one definitely did. This is called Coached Red-Handed.
I love it.
And it's one of these themes. So she's a life coach. This is the 4th in the series. The first one was Coached to Death. Number 2 was To Coach a Killer. And the third one was Coached in the Act. And this was put out on July 26, 2022 by our book fairies at Kensington.
Oh, very cool. I love it.
This book takes place in the East Hamptons in Connecticut. with this being the fourth book in this series, it dropped me right into some drama that was obviously laid down in the other books. But I never felt like I was catching up. She did a really good job of keeping me informed of what their backstories were. We have Kat Cooper, who is the life coach, and she is independently wealthy, which I think is a good idea in a book because it gives them more opportunities to sleuth and do whatever they need to do. She owned a tech company and she sold it, so that's how she got her money. She's divorced, and we apparently found out more about that in the earlier books. But she has a best friend, Gilly. Gilly is a gay best friend, and something that I think everyone should have. And he is very distraught because his husband and him are going through a divorce, and he can't deal. He doesn't want to have to go clean out the house, and Kat is trying to help him with this. Kat decides, you know what? He needs to be cheered up. So she offers to take him on a 2-week trip to Italy.
I'd like to be cheered up.
Yeah.
I mean, I find myself in need of cheering.
Yeah.
If anybody is,
Any listener who wants to take me to Italy, I'm ready.
Hey, I had to win a contest to go.
Well, we can't all be you, Tracy.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, before she goes, she needs to settle up with some of her clients, and she has an older woman romance writer, and her name, Scarlett. Scarlett is having a lot of family problems. Her kids don't appreciate her, and she doesn't know what to do. She ends up dead.
As you do.
As you do. Especially in these. She finds out that Scarlett was getting ready to write her kids and her grandkids out of her will.
Oh,
That'll do it.
So there's your motive right there.
right.
Kat has a boyfriend, and shocker, shocker, he's a cop.
I have done almost everything but that.
And that's funny because he's a detective.
Yes.
Either a detective, a cop,
or something in the culinary field. I think that's
I do understand that. I do understand why that works in the structure of the cozy. It gives them access and stuff. I have always thought, though, but then you're constantly fighting over something that has nothing to do with you. And if I really truly love you and I am messing with your job just because I have nothing better to do, that would be friction for me that I wouldn't want to do. Now, I like reading it, but when I'm writing it, I always had kind of a hard time thinking, why would you want to do that?
Well, in cozies, a lot of times the protagonist, she breaks the law 6 or 7 times.
Well, there's a little of that going on in this. I wouldn't say break the law, but they inject themselves into situations that I don't think I would have. They tried to find a way to get into the reading of the will.
Right.
So she said she lost a ring. Yeah.
She did.
So it's like skirting the law. I do have the skirting the law, and I like that. But see, I end up pitting my sleuth against the cops. And they're like, get out of my stuff. Well, and my sleuth is like, I would if you do your job. And so
Tallie and the chief of police have a locking heads on it.
Shepard, that's the boyfriend. He makes Kat and Gilly promise to stop investigating.
Okay.
Well, we know how that goes.
Of course. And I do like that dynamic because it does build in something for them to like work through in every book, which then so in the book, like, is there character growth because of having
I think there definitely is.
Yeah, and I do love that.
I didn't read the other 3 books, but I went back and I started going through Goodreads and reading the reviews of what other people were saying about the other books. And that was definitely one of them. I judge a cozy by how many times it makes me laugh out loud. And this did a few times. So apparently she worked on timing with inserting humor. And
I'm already very interested. I've already downloaded it.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny you should say that because I listened to this on audio and I should have written down who was the narrator, but I did not. But it was very well done. At the end of the book, I think everything was tied up very neatly and it definitely left me wanting more. And that's the important part right there.
Yes.
Like I will definitely read more of the series. And since they're short reads, probably go back and read the other three.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Victoria Laurie has several series, and some of them sound really intriguing. The Life Coach one that I just read, and the Ghost Hunter series.
Okay.
The Psychic Eye Mysteries.
Oh,
there's a few more, but I thought this one sounded pretty interesting. It's a middle grade series called The Oracle of Delphi Keep. And I tell you, Misty, the one thing that Anne and I have learned is that these middle grade writers are really upping their game.
Are they?
Some amazing.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, we just thought, oh, we'll just read it, this fun little story. No, this is pretty deep.
Okay. Awesome. I love it.
But you can find her on Facebook at Victoria Laurie's Fans. So there you go. There's my little blurb.
That's awesome. Did you find yourself in a position where you kind of knew who had done it before you were told, or were you completely like taken aback?
When you're reading a mystery, you guess a couple different, maybe it's this and maybe it's that. And some of it's due to red herrings. So they're purposely leading you down this. But when you've read as many mysteries as we have, when you try too hard to veer away from somebody.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, that's who it is.
So right it's not that she did a bad job, but when it comes to cozies, they're not deep dives. They're not, they're to entertain and, but also, a lot of times with a very good mystery tied in. But I'm more, when it comes to a cozy, intrigued about the characters. If I'm going to start reading a series, I want to develop a relationship with these people. And Gilly and Kat, I could see we could hang.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, that's, so if you're talking, like I was talking about thrillers earlier, a lot of times the psych behind those is going to be very dark in some way. Like there has to be a reason why you're going to be a serial killer. There has to be a reason why you will, hunt for these particular people, or something happened that you need this revenge that's then going to fuel the thriller. In a cozy mystery, more often than not, it's somebody who just has snapped. And so it's not some 89-year-old woman is like, has a candy cane shoved through her chest and is like laying in the doghouse in front of Santa's picture place. That generally is not because someone is emotionally or psychologically broken, and then it's a hunt to see if you can catch him before he kills anybody else. That is like the thriller aspect to me, whereas the cozy mystery is more like Fred down the road decided that we're done now. I'm not letting you have my pickles anymore.
Get off my lawn.
Exactly. Get off my lawn. You get the toilet thrown at you from the front yard, and now you have to figure out. So it's more about like the who done it versus the how or the why.
Yeah.
And so yeah. Awesome. Well, I am super excited. I will definitely be looking her up because I am intrigued by the different genres that she and the different spaces that she seems to have within the cozies. And I also always look for the relationships. I want to come back on book 6 and be like, oh, yay, I get to see how Kat's doing. I can't wait. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's why I said we need more Tallie.
I'm working on it. I promise.
All right. Okay, we're going to drop it there, and we will pick up next week with the other 2 books in what we're reading for November. So be sure and listen next week, and we will see you then. Trivia. Last week's question was, which mystery author wrote the book Dinosaurs in the Attic? A. Craig T. Johnson, B. Ray Bradbury, C. John Bradford, or D. Douglas Preston? The answer is D. Douglas Preston. Preston began his writing career at the American Museum of Natural History in New York. From 1978 to 1985, Preston worked for the American Museum of Natural History as a writer, editor, and manager of publications. He served as managing editor for the journal Curator and was a columnist for Natural History magazine. In 1985, he published a history of the museum called Dinosaurs in the Attic, an excursion into the American Museum of Natural History, which chronicled the explorers and expeditions of the museum's early days. The editor of that book at St. Martin's Press was his future writing partner, Lincoln Child. They soon collaborated on a thriller set in the museum titled Relic, published in 1995. This week's question. The author Thomas Harris gives very few interviews, but in one he described his writing style as A. Sometimes you really have to shove and grunt and sweat. B. Sometimes words come faster than you can write them down. C. There is no style, it's pure luck. Or D. There are months that I don't even try to write. Tune in next week for the answer. Well, that wraps up our episode for this week. Be sure and join us next week when we'll finish this episode. And remember,
Life would be boring without a little mystery. Bye.